The All-Star break has come and gone, and what do we know? On Thursday, we'll be back with Bulls basketball. Is Josh Giddey going to play? If he does, our starters, who would the starters be? We'll talk about it.
Get the lowdown on one of the most iconic basketball teams in the world. You're listening to Chicago Bulls Nation.
What is going on, Bulls Nation? By the way, if you guys are not in the loop here, check out chicagobulls.com or bulls.com, and they have this new all access after the trade. It's a pretty interesting watch as well. It's not too long. It's actually, I took out the audio here, but it's awesome to see behind the scenes when you see all these new players. Colin Sexton, Yabusele, you can see him just in awe of all the history of Chicago Bulls and all that stuff. He said he took a picture and sent it to his family when he got his jersey. Like it feels like he's genuinely happy to be here in Chicago. Simons obviously is a different story. He's coming from Boston. But yeah, all these guys, Yabusele, Ivy, Dillingham, all looking for quote unquote second chance, so to speak, or opportunity to shine. They're not looking per se to win. That might be Anthony Simons or Colin Sexton. But in one point, Sexton was like, hey, I've never played more than 23 minutes in around 6 weeks. So he knows, like, when he walked in, he's going to get a lot of minutes because we were short on body. But hopefully that changes throughout, the season. Now, I'm a firm believer that we should, and everyone is doing this, and they have a legit injury with Giddey and Tre Jones. I feel like there's no rush on putting them back out there. There's no benefit of putting them out soon enough. You don't want to re-aggravate an injury, because if you do that, they might be out extended period of time, not only this year, but might be next year. So why are you compromising that, their health, if they are not fully 100%? If it was me, it was my decision, I wouldn't put them back till like maybe the last 10 games of the season, just to see how they are, gelling with the new guys, specifically Rob Dillingham and Jaden Ivey and maybe Nick Richards, for those guys that you do want to retain. And honestly, for the right price, I do want to retain Yabusele. I do want to retain Nick Richards. And, it's so refreshing to see a big guy act like a big man in basketball. Because for the past 5 years, no shade to Vooch, he's a very good player, provided good memories for us. But some of us forgotten how to have a big man, a traditional big man. And I didn't know Rob Dillingham and Matas Buzelis was, don't know each other. So the report's going to be good. But as you saw in the thumbnail, I feel that if everyone comes back healthy, for example, next Thursday, I hope not. I hope we continue this tanking, this soft tank. But if they do, I wish that the starting lineup would be Josh Giddey, Rob Dillingham, Matas Buzelis, and the three. We got Jaden Ivey on the bench. Jalen Smith at the 4, and Nick Richards at the 5. I really like what I see with Nick Richards. I want to see how this double big would benefit us. I mean, Jalen Smith is a serviceable 5, but you don't want him, getting all the abuse in the 5, if you have somebody legit like Nick Richards. I do want to see this tall lineup, because if you are, because you can interchange Rob Dillingham to Jaden Ivey, but I just don't like the idea that coming off the bench would be Tre Jones and Rob Dillingham. They're both, smaller guards. Now you can start Tre Jones, but without Kobe now scoring, I guess Matas and Giddey can get that, but with Dillingham, I kind of want to give him the green light to see what we have scoring wise. Like I said, you can plug in Ivy as an ideal too, and ideally that's the case. I just don't like, and maybe you can chalk it up for next year. Although next year I think we're gonna have some good pieces, some good players because of how big our cap space is. I think we're gonna have a legit wing next year, whether it's Tari Eason or Peyton Watson. So you can slot him on the 3. But another option is to put Matas at 4 again, Jalen Smith at 5, and then Isaac Okoro at 3. I just don't like the spacing, the scoring there. Where exactly you're gonna. Tre Jones can score, but like I said, I just want to see how Rob Dillingham plays alongside Josh Giddey, because I feel like it would be okay. He's tiny. They're gonna hunt him defensively, but if you have size up front, which is Matas is a big guy, he's a long, lengthy guy, and he doesn't need to bang inside, because that's what you got Jalen Smith for and Nick Richards. Every time what we see Matas, the opposing power forward kind of bodies him around. But if he's on the 3, which I think he moves laterally well, and if he gets beaten, you still have 2 big guys out there in the back that's waiting on, to block your shots. Now, as far as the pace, Dillingham is fast. Giddey is fast. And I think to an extent, Matas can run the floor. And so is, Jalen Smith. Now, you're going to lose some athleticism, out there because, like running and all that stuff. But I would really want to experiment on that. Like, I want to see those guys on the floor at the same time. The second unit would be Tre Jones, Jaden Ivey, Isaac Okoro. You got Yabusele, maybe at a 5. And at the 4, I really don't want to see Sexton or Simons anymore, but you can interchange those guys. It is really up to you how you want to play it out. Miller could be in the mix as well, but that's how I probably would tailor it. Maybe spread out the minutes between Yabusele and those guys on the 4 and 5. Maybe just sit down Nick Richards after a few minutes in the first quarter and switch it up, put Okoro at the 3. But I do want Dillingham out there on the floor. I really do. I think he would be a good running mate for Josh Giddey. I think he would be a good replacement for Coby White. He got to improve his shooting. They're going to hunt him on defense because of his size. But with the new improved front court defensively, I think we'll be okay. But let me know in the comments, how would you draw up the starting 5? And forget about tanking and all that stuff, but the best 5 out there, like let's say last few games of the season, how do you want it to go around in the minutes and all that stuff? I would love to hear your thoughts. Thank you for watching. Subscribe to the channel if you're a Bulls fan, and I'll see you in the next one.